Rohan Nadkarni, Sports Illustrated. Ime, I think in the first half, the broadcast caught Marcus saying something about adjusting a little bit defensively, asking the bigs to come up a little bit more.
Yep.
In the fourth quarter, though, specifically, did you adjust anything you guys were doing defensively? Did you ask the guys to do anything differently? Why do you think you're able to have so much success in the last few minutes of the fourth?
We started switching more instead of, they were attacking Rob at times with Wiggins. He was a little bit too low. Al was as well. So we got a little bit more aggressive and took away some of their airspace on the threes and tried to get them inside the three-point line and make them beat us there, as well as going with the smaller lineup. So did some pre-switching to keep the bigs off, and it worked well for us.
Last question, Adam. Immelsbeck, second row.
Steph was saying yesterday, like thinking back to his first finals, game one of his first finals was the day he felt it, like he felt the jitters. I feel like you could see it a little bit out there with a few air balls from guys who don't usually. What is it like to withstand a huge first quarter from Steph, withstand this crowd, and still at the end of this night to like come out with a win? What does that do for you guys, do you think, moving forward?
It's confidence builder because we didn't play our best at all. Obviously, Jason didn't play his best, but every time we looked up, 32-28 after the first quarter, only down 4 at halftime, and we hadn't played well at all. And so they finally stretched the lead a little bit to get us to 92-80 going into the fourth, but we had a huge quarter there. So knowing what we can do defensively, if we're a little more tuned in, lack of communication in the first half, I think obviously shows the blueprint for what we can do there. I think getting those opening night jitters out, and I think that settled some as the game went on. And you saw other guys step up, but we don't expect JT to have a tough shooting night like that again. I don't know if you attribute it to jitters or some of the defense they were throwing at him, boxing one in some of those zones, but shows what we are, which is a team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We have our coaches and players in here. We'll get started with Coach right away. Kareth?
Thank you. Kareth Burke, NBC Sports Bay Area. Why did you guys have trouble making stops in the fourth quarter?
Well, give them credit. I mean, they made 21 threes. They were moving the ball really well, and they had us on our heels. They made a good push, to start the fourth, and they kept that momentum going. It's going to be tough, to beat Boston if they're making 21 threes and they're getting, a combined 11 from, Horford and White. Those guys. Give them credit. They knocked down every big shot in the fourth quarter. Boston was just played a brilliant quarter, and they came in and earned the win.
Logan on the right.
Hey, Steve, you played Andre obviously today, big minutes. And what did you think of his performance out there, and what does he bring to your team that you didn't have?
Well, we played him 12 minutes, so I wouldn't call that big minutes, but Andre was great. He's got finals experience. He gets us settled down. He's a great defender. So I thought Andre did a really good job out there.
Tim up front.
Yeah, they jump out to the 7-0 third quarter start without Steph. You get Steph back in, you're still up, and it almost went even faster. Did you sense a loss of composure, loss of focus? What do you think happened just in those moments?
I thought we had a couple turnovers, a couple bad possessions offensively, and they just pounced. They took advantage of every opportunity. They moved the ball well, and like I said, you make 5-6 threes in a row in the fourth quarter. Then that's tough to overcome. So, we'll watch the tape and learn from it and see what we can do better. My gut reaction, just what I just witnessed, was they just came in, played a hell of a fourth quarter, and you got to give them credit. And it's pretty much as simple as that.
Anthony on the left.
Yeah, how challenging did you find it at times offensively to score against them? And I mean, I know going in, you knew how good they were defensively, but what just specifically made it tough tonight?
Well, they've got good size and athleticism, at every position pretty much. So they put a lot of pressure on you, but I thought we had some really good moments. We had 38 in the third quarter. We had a good run there. It was mainly the fourth quarter that got us. So we feel confident with our ability to score against them. But like I said, you give up 40 in the fourth and the other team makes 21 threes. It's going to be tough to win.
Question in the middle here.
Hey, Steve, I want to ask you about the shot disparaging, the shot spread out among the team. Specifically, Jordan Poole only had 7 shots. Do you think you need to do more to get him some open looks, or do you think it's upon him to just be more aggressive?
Yeah, we'll watch the tape and we'll see, what we need to do. I thought Boston did a good job on Jordan, put a lot of pressure on him, and there's probably some things that we can do to help free him up. And then, he's a hell of a player, so he'll bounce back and play better too.
Up front.
Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports, right here, Steve. You held Tatum largely in check. I think he was 3 of 17. Was that basically the game plan going in, that you're going to concede Derek White, Al Horford taking those shots, and they just happened to hit him tonight?
Well, you never go in conceding shots. You kind of have a scouting report on each player. You know who you're going to close out hot to, who you're going to close out short to, all that stuff. It felt to me like we didn't close out very well in the first half, and that allowed them to get going a little bit. But again, got to watch the tape and see where the breakdowns occurred.
Barry in the middle.
Hey, Steve. Barry Bloom from Sportico. It's not just your team, but why do you think that there's been such wild disparities of play, not only from game to game in these playoffs, but from quarter to quarter?
I think the three-point shot has a lot to do with that. I mean, you saw, I don't know how many they made in the fourth. Somebody in here probably knows they make 7 or 8 threes in the fourth quarter. 9. So, that's, I think it has everything to do with the three-point shot. It's, you didn't see these kind of swings even a decade ago because you didn't have teams that could make threes from every position, and, teams that, could string together a number of threes like most teams can these days. So I think that's probably the answer.
Question on the left.
Steve, Young with ESPN. We were talking pregame about how you guys aren't in this position very often, losing game one. How would you describe what the team is feeling right now?
Well, obviously, everybody's down. You want to go out and win the first one, and we had every opportunity. 12-point lead going into the fourth. So, guys are bummed, as you would expect. But it's a 7-game series for a reason. I think, you give Boston credit. They came in there and earned the win, played a great fourth quarter. We'll come in, watch the film tomorrow and see where we can get better. And, it's one game, so you move on to the next one.
Howard, back right.
Howard Beck, Sports Illustrated. Steve, just picking up on Ohm's question, the record in game ones prior to this meant you guys were always in control early. How does it change things, do you think, whether it's game plan, attitude, mentality, whatever, playing from behind in a series like this in a way that you haven't before?
Well, it's different for sure. I mean, when you win game one at home, there's a sense of comfort, and you kind of have a feel for your opponent at that point and make your adjustments, and so it's a different feeling. Obviously, you go into game two with more of a sense of desperation, but that's all part of this stuff. We've been in this position before, and we've won series where we've lost the first game. We've won a road game, at least one road game, and I don't know how many consecutive series. So you always kind of assume you're going to have to win on the road to win a playoff series. So it's a different feeling, but it's still first 1 to 4.
On the left.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area. Steve, you guys won the third quarter by 14. What are the things you want to take from that quarter? Obviously, you couldn't take into the fourth tonight, but what are the things you want to take from that quarter and move into the future games?
Yeah, I thought the third was great for us. We moved the ball. We got offensive rebounds. We shared it. We got some really good looks against their defense. Because we were the aggressor, we kind of tied the game together. Good defense led to good offense, and vice versa. And then in the fourth, that flipped. I thought we had some poor offensive possessions, and that led to some transition hoops for them, and that changed the game.
Any final questions for Coach Kerr? Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Yes. I'll get you the file.
Sounds intense.
Clients. What do you do?
Retired?
Tech?
Nah, Army.
Huh. Check your spam folder.
Start with Kareth again for Draymond.
Draymond, when you guys ended the Western Conference final early, you gave yourself a lot of time to rest. From Boston's perspective, when they end their series in 7, they come in rhythm. When you look at this game from your perspective, did it just come down to the threes that they hit in the fourth quarter, or do you think that rhythm was a factor?
No, I think they stayed within striking distance, and they made shots late. So we'll be fine. We'll figure out the ways we can stop them from getting those threes and take them away. But no, I don't think it was a rhythm thing. We pretty much dominated the game for the first 41, 42 minutes. So we'll be fine.
Anthony on the left.
Yeah, several of Al Horford's threes were wide open. I mean, what do you guys need to do better there?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Watch some film, but they have guys that put pressure on the rim, so you're gonna have to rotate and help, and we'll have to figure out where our next rotation is coming from and do it. But they hit 21 threes, and Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and Derek White combined for 15 of them. So those guys are good shooters, but they combined for, 15 out of 8. Where's Smart? 7, 8, 15 for 23. My math right? 8, 7, and 8. 8, 7, and 8. Yeah, that's 23, right? Yeah. 15 for 23 from those guys. So be fine.
Tim on the right.
Draymond, you've mentioned a couple times now that you played pretty good. You've not been down in a series though in these playoffs. Is it a little hit to the confidence? Is it a little bit like, wait a minute, this is a little different here?
No, it's fun. You get a chance to do something else, do it in a different way, embrace the challenge, and we've always embraced challenges. It's no different. We'll embrace this one. So no, it's not a hit to the confidence at all. Not one bit.
Question in the middle.
Robert Littal, BSO. Being your 6th finals, and this is a game 1. Speaking of that confidence, is that what kind of leads it to, you being very relaxed? It's a long series. You're not too worried about that. And then your shooting, is that just something like you figure it was just a fluke game and won't happen again going forward?
Whether you win every game at home, you still want to win one on the road. In our history, we've always won one on the road. So, it's just nothing to panic about. It's the first team to win 4 games, not the first to win 1. So I think that's where the confidence comes from, is just understand that. And as far as the shooting, are you talking about me personally or us as a team? Oh, yeah. I missed some bunnies. My threes felt good. So, I'll continue to stay aggressive. They'll fall. But, tonight they didn't.
On the left.
CJ Holmes, San Francisco Chronicle. What kind of lift did having Otto and Andre back on the court provide?
It was huge. They both gave us great minutes. And now it's on me to play better. But, to have those guys back, Otto played really well. He shot the ball really well. Andre played well also in the minutes that he had. So they did their part. I just have to do mine.
Monty on the left.
In the fourth quarter, they looked to have more energy. How much of that was just making shots, and how much of that was the early turnovers that they got from you guys? Yeah, I think when you're making shots, that's a boost, and when you're missing shots, it's a Debbie Downer, and that's kind of what it was. They made them, we missed them, and sometimes you can allow missed shots to drag your defense down. I think a little bit of that happened in the fourth quarter as well. So, yeah, you got to give them credit. They made the shots when they needed to make them.
Sports. Does a game like this speak to maybe the margin of error that you guys don't have compared to the last two series that you were in?
I don't think in any NBA finals you're going to have a margin of error, and that's what this team has to understand. You know, when you get to this point in the season, this level, there is no margin for error. It's two great teams, and the team that makes the less mistakes are going to win the game, and they did that. So, yeah, I mean, they had 21 points off our 14 turnovers. We had 10 off their 13. So, yeah, there is no margin of error for either team. Nah, I didn't see a lack of focus. You don't get up 15 points with a lack of focus. So they're a great team. They made a run, and we didn't stop the bleeding soon enough. You know, they kept hitting shots.
Final question from Al in the back.
Al Sarasovic, San Francisco Examiner. A lot was made out of the Celtics defense coming into the series. Draymond, as a defensive specialist expert, what was your take on how they played on that side of the ball, and what kind of problems did they present for the Warriors?
They got a good defense. We knew that coming in. There was no surprises. We know what they want to get to on the defensive side and how they like to play. They know what we're trying to get to. So, yeah, no surprises. They are who we thought they were, and now we'll watch the clips, watch the film, and figure out what we need to do to attack it.
Thanks, Draymond.
Hey, Al, you had 3 after 3 after 3 when it mattered most. What allowed you to dig in, find that poise on this stage?
It was the way that we were, moving the ball on offense, and just being in those positions. I felt like the guys kept finding me time after time. Also, Derek White, hit some tough shots there too, and it was just get the looks, knock them down, and that's that.
Third row on the right.
Al, Rohan Nadkarni, Sports Illustrated. Ime mentioned in the fourth quarter, you guys went small, started switching more, pre-switching more. Obviously, that helped your defense, but in terms of keeping Golden State off the offensive glass, was there anything you did differently in that fourth quarter, or anything to kind of spark your guys rebounding?
I think that we were able to do a better job, with that, holding them off. And we have to be better, for next game, making sure that we're not giving so many second chance points and putting ourselves in bad positions. And I feel like in the fourth, to your point, I think the switching, did help, and that was good for us.
Seventh row in the back.
Monica McNutt, ESPN. Al, Peyton said you guys knew you were going to make the run, and so that was the mindset. But once you take the lead with 6 minutes to go, what are you guys then saying to one another?
Just continue to play. That was our message throughout the whole game. They're such a good team, and for us, it was just just continue to play no matter what. And our guys, that's what we did. It wasn't our best game, but we continue to fight and find different ways to get this win.
Tim Bontemps on the right.
Tim Bontemps from ESPN. Al, this is a new thing up here. Obviously, being up here with your son. I know this is obviously a special moment for you being in the finals. What caused you to want to do that?
What caused me to want to
bring your?
It just he just happened to be with me after the game today. He was sitting by the bench, so he's here hanging out with me. And I asked him if he wanted to come up, and he said yeah. So here he is.
You guys all season, Al, have obviously had a lot of ups and downs, right? And in the second half, it seemed like it sort of encapsulated the way your season has gone. How did you guys kind of gather yourselves after that third quarter, which has been a struggle spot, to respond the way you did in the fourth?
Golden State really did a good job in the third. I mean, they're known for coming out in the third and being very aggressive. And I think that for us, the key was Jaylen Brown, start of the fourth quarter, with the way that he came out and played, with his energy and scoring, but also then Rob Williams gets a lob dunk. And I just think that that was the start for us of something there. And it started with that fourth quarter group. It started the fourth quarter, gave us kind of that boost, that confidence, and we just continue to, plug away.
Fourth row on the left.
Jay King, The Athletic. You guys, the last couple of series, you wanted Giannis to shoot threes. You gave up some jumpers to Jimmy Butler. How much of a shock is it to then play against Curry, against Clay, against guys that you really have to be up in their airspace? And then how did you adjust to that as the game went along?
It's a huge challenge. It's something that we haven't seen, those type of guys. And for us, it's just almost our defense is versatile. We have a lot of guys that can defend different ways, and it's been a big adjustment, and it's not easy. Steph came out, just firing, and we were there, and he was making shot after shot, and for us, it's just continuing to find ways to to be better on the defensive end.
Fifth row on the right.
Hi, Al. It's been a journey for you to get to this point. This is your first finals game. I'm Michelle Steele from ESPN, by the way. Your first finals game. What were your emotions tonight in this game, and what does it mean to you to have this kind of performance?
Just grateful for this opportunity. It's just going out there and playing basketball at the end of the day. That's just what it is, and just grateful to be in this position. God has put me in this position, and it's something that I embrace and I'm excited about, and just excited to be able to share this stage with these group of guys. We have a lot of great guys here, and guys that have really bought into what we're trying to do, and it's just fun to see all that come together.
We'll take two more questions. Steve Ashburn.
Steve Ashburn at NBA.com. As recently as last round, Derek White was telling us about how he felt he had to tiptoe his way to finding his place within your group. Was that anything you were aware of, and what, if anything, did you guys do to sort of make him feel like,
I wasn't aware of that. We love Derek, what he's brought to our group, his energy, his commitment to working hard. He continues to work, no matter how's it going for him individually. He continues to prepare, and we have a lot of confidence in him. So thank you for telling me that. I'll make sure I address it, and it's something that he just needs to go out there and play, and we have the most confidence in him, and he was huge for us tonight. Just his confidence, his energy was really good for us.
Last question to Robert in first row.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Al, you were with Jason during his rookie year, and did you see the playmaking that he's developed in him early on back then? And just, you've become a playmaker too over the course of your career. Just what does it take to reach that next level as a passer?
There were some flashes early on, but he really, it's such a challenge for guys like him, those top players in the league that, are expected to score, to play make, to defend, all those things. And Jason does all those things. And his playmaking, has gotten better steadily. And tonight it was just, brilliant. He offensively, he didn't really get it going scoring-wise, but then he was finding guys. He was, reading the defense, and it just shows his growth. Even from earlier in the year, he just has continued to get better, and he's the kind of guy that he's going to figure it out. One way or another, he's going to figure it out. We put a lot on him, and he delivers. That's what he does.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
I am a business hotel. I eat, sleep, and breathe efficiency. I'm looking for someone who appreciates high ROIs and even higher RPMs. I would be honored to be your perfect somewhere.
Any questions? Third row on the right.
Derek over here, Rohan Agni, Sports Illustrated. Ime mentioned in the fourth quarter, you guys started switching more often, pre-switching. Do you like enjoy a particular defensive coverage more than another? What's it like for you when you guys are switching those matchups? And why do you think it works so well in the fourth?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun ever since I've been here. Just all the defensive coverage that we do, the way we can mix and match and make changes throughout the game, and just having everybody out there that can guard multiple positions. So it's a lot of fun, and that's what we hold our hat on.
Second row on the right.
John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. For both of you, you guys have had games throughout these playoffs where the struggles kind of continue throughout the game. Today, in the fourth quarter, you're able to turn things around, make that big run when you were down. And how do you do that? Game one of the finals, first time in the finals. How do you find that within you to get that turnaround?
You just believe in what you've been doing all year. You know, that it hasn't been our first time being down in that position, nor in this game, let alone all season. We came in with a game plan, and for us it was just to stick with it, you know, and believe in ourselves. So we kept doing that, and as you see, everybody started to catch fire, get hot, and things started to go our way.
We'll go to the middle, second row. Adam.
Adam Himmelsbach, Boston Globe. Derek, especially at the start, they were really playing off of you at the three-point line, gave you some open ones, and then you hit a couple. What does it do for you? You know, how do you stay focused almost when a team is playing you like that, and then when you get on a roll, forcing them to change, forcing them to adjust? What does it kind of do elsewhere too?
I mean, I kind of figured they would guard me like that going into the series. I mean, they guarded me like that last time we played them. So, I mean, I missed my first two, but they felt great. So I just stayed confident. I mean, teammates and coach staff always tell me to stay confident. So it's good to see that one go down. Just got to roll from there.
Fourth row, third seat.
Derek, for you, how would you describe that fourth quarter? I mean, holding the Warriors to 13 points while you guys scored 40. And then for both of you, what was it like being on this stage, stepping up in this game one of the finals tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they got off in that third quarter, and we had to come together and slow them down. I mean, we changed defense up a little bit, made them work, and then got the stops and got out and run. So it was a lot of fun, and we got to watch film, learn from the mistakes we made, and get better for game two.
Second row, first seat.
For somebody like Al Horford, who obviously waited 15 years to get to his first finals and then had the type of performance he had tonight, just what did it feel like for you guys to see him explode like that? Like, how happy were you for him?
I mean, we were ecstatic for him. I mean, Al's the OG, man. He puts in the work, you know, and don't nobody deserve to be here more than him, you know, and the way that he carries himself professionally, the professionalism he comes into this game with every day, you know, we knew that it was only a matter of time for him to have a big game and continue to have a big game, you know. That's what he does. That's what he's been doing. And, you know, he's been that catalyst for us this whole year.
Fourth row in the middle, Candace.
Candace Buckner, Washington Post. Question for both guys. A lot has been made about Celtics having a lack of experience coming in here. So for game one, what were you able to do to kind of stay with a routine, especially with it being an early start at 6 p.m.?
I mean, we've had early games, I feel like, this whole postseason, so we weren't really too worried about that. But, I mean, there are a lot of guys that played a lot of big basketball throughout their career. Might not be the finals, but, I mean, the thing about this group is we love to hoop, so we're ready to go.
Fourth row on the left side.
Matt Votor, Mass Live. Marcus, in the Miami series, you guys had some games where you played really well, and then the next game weren't the same. How do you carry this over and keep yourselves from letting up to try to keep this going?
We just got to go watch the film. You know, we got to focus on the things we did right. You know, we can't get too high and we can't get too low. You know, tonight was one of those games where we can't get too high. We played very well. but we're going to match that energy the next game, and we understand that. And, we all know this game is a game of runs. You don't go into the game planning to play bad. Things happen, and, you just got to find a way, and sometimes it doesn't work that way.
6th row on the right.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. For both of you, JT, they took him out a lot of what he was trying to find scoring-wise, and he was just moving the ball as much as possible. What conversations throughout the game were you having with him to try to allow him to find you guys open? And Marcus, especially you, what did you find with that pick and pop action when they were blitzing him late?
All year, leading up to this, we've been kind of grooming and preparing Jason for these moments where teams are going to, key in on you so much that they try to take you out the game, and you have to be able to, to make plays and affect the game in different ways. Tonight he had 13 assists, and we've preached that all year. So, he's had a lot of practice at it, and for us, it's just to make sure he stays confident and know that, even though they're doing a good job on you, you still who you are. And we got your back. That's what we're here for, to help you when times get like that, to open things up for you to get going. And the pick and pop, just being able to make reads. Jason does a really good job of setting the screen, and, we're good at making the reads. We're basketball players, and we take what the defense gives us.
Gary Washburn on the left.
Gary Washburn, Boston Globe. For both you guys, so much was said about the lack of fourth quarter execution in Game 7 against Miami, or letting them come back. What does it say about you guys to come back and take this game in the fourth quarter? And especially, Marcus, you were 0 for 5 from 3, but you don't hesitate. You took 2 threes, you hit them both in the fourth quarter. I mean, what does that say about the resiliency of the team and then you guys personally?
It just says what we've been doing all year. We've been counted out all year, rightfully so. We've had moments, but we continue to fight, and that's who we are. I think over the last couple months, that's who we've been, or that's our identity. I think it's stuck with us for a reason. So, for me, we have great players around us, and just got to stay confident. Like Derek said, we're always telling each other to stay confident, because it's a game or two where we're going to need to help our team win. They're going to do a good job on Jalen and Jason and everybody else, so we have to be prepared, and that's what it came down to.
We'll take 2 more questions on the far right, 7th row.
For both gentlemen, Ryan Leong, NBC News Radio. You kind of answered this already, but what's the dynamic for you guys to play so well on the road? I mean, you guys, I believe, have a better road record than home record in these playoffs, and the Warriors hadn't lost a game at all in the postseason until tonight.
The road is a time where it's just us. We come together as a group. We know it's just us versus them in their arena. So we enjoy playing on the road. It's a tough place to play, and a big game 1, and we just got to be a little greedy and try to get this game 2.
Last question on the left.
Hey, man, I got a question for both of you guys. Cameron Buford here, Los Angeles News Observer, by way of Voice of the Fans. Marcus, when you met Derek and Team USA, did you see this from him, his ability to kind of step up and be a key player for you guys? And Derek, Marcus Smart's development is, how did you help him with his development to get to where he's at right now?
Well, first of all, first thing Derek said was, "My name is Derek," and that's it, when I first met him. But we definitely seen it. Derek is, he played for a great organization. He played under a great coach, and we knew that Derek understood the game the way he plays, and watching him play before we got to USA reminded myself a little bit of me. So, just instantly off the back, loved the way he played. And, coming into that when we were practice, he was never backing down no matter what. So, when you got a guy like that and me, and then a guy like Derek, it's always going to be some battles, but it's nothing but respect there. And that's what's kind of been showing. He's every day he's done something new to make you go, that's why he's here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
My name is Derek.
Get out your seats!
Tim with the first question for Clay.
Hey, Clay, what did you think happened in the fourth quarter there? You have the nice lead. I think things were looking pretty good for you, and then what happened?
I think we had some costly turnovers. I mean, I missed a couple great looks, and then they got some great looks from three. That kind of blew the lid open for them. And when you go 51% on 41 shots from the perimeter, it's hard to beat a team that way.
Mark up front.
Clay, Mark Medina, MV.com. Moving forward, what do you think it's going to take to withstand when they go on those runs?
Just trusting each other on both sides of the ball. You know, I missed some rotations. We just got to be better as far as being on a string together and moving and hitting the open man. It was a tough loss, especially the way we did lose, you know, squandering a 15-point lead. Very, very rare for us. So it's not the end of the world, and we'll regroup tomorrow, and we'll bring a much better effort on Sunday.
Anthony?
Yeah, without looking at the tape, obviously, I mean, do you feel comfortable with the threes you gave up, to who you gave them up to, or did you feel like, there was a lot of defensive breakdowns within that?
No, because they were great looks for them, but when you as a shooter, when you hit a couple open shots, and when the guy's in your face, it doesn't, you got the rhythm going, so it's easier to make those. So we just gotta take out those guys who were very effective from the perimeter tonight, going forward.
Kareth?
Clay, when you start the finals with a deficit, what's the value of having so many veterans in the locker room who have been on this stage before to help usher you guys through this moment?
Well, it's first to four, not first to one, and we all have been through situations like this, and we realize that it's going to be very hard. And it's the best part about it is, we have another opportunity Sunday.
Question on the right.
Draymond talked about not pushing the panic button after a game like this. You guys were in control for most of the game until the fourth quarter. Just what is the general attitude of the team after a meltdown kind of like that?
Well, it's never fun, and it hurts on the biggest stage, obviously. But like Draymond said, there's no reason to panic. I mean, I like our chances still, and we'll go home and we'll digest what happened, and I know we'll be better game 2.
Home on the left.
Clay, Young, looks like ESPN. What do you remember specifically? You guys have only been in this situation 2 times before. What do you remember how you guys responded after losing a game 1?
I remember just putting it past us. There's no reason to hold on to a loss when you have another game so soon. And I remember watching film and realizing there's many things we can do better and applying those strategies. So it's pretty simple, and I just know we'll be better game 2. I'll be better.
Tim on the right.
Clay, when Kurt took you guys all out at the end, he kind of went down the row and gave each one of you a hand, fist bump and kind of a half hug, and I think you were involved in that. What was the message indicated there?
Just Steve knows how hard it is. I mean, he's been through this, his career and coaching career, and we stick together through the thick and thin, wins and losses. We're not going to splinter because we didn't play like we wanted to. We're just going to continue to play as hard as we can, and I just know if we do that, we'll be better.
Over to Monty with the last question.
NBC Sports Bay Area, Monty Poole. Clay, they seem to have more pep in the fourth quarter. How much of that was because they were making shots and getting turnovers, and how much of that was just something else going on?
That was definitely because we were turning it over and they were getting good looks. I mean, ask any basketball player, when you get great looks from 3, everything else feels easy. So it's on us to be better Sunday and play with more force on the defensive end and not let them get so comfortable.
Thanks, Clay.
Sweet.
People assume these photo shoots are easy.
Just like they assume they can't afford great insurance. For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, call or click to get a quote today.
Oh, shit. First question, on third on the right, on the left, excuse me.
Joseph Pavone, CLNS Media, Payne, your first shot, just seeing that go in, did that really loosen you up throughout? Because it seemed like that's just what you needed, just see that ball go through the net.
I think it was good for all of us. I mean, to see our first shots or see a shot go in. I mean, this is our first time for all of us being in the NBA Finals, so obviously there's a little bit of jitters and stuff like that, but yeah, it was.
First row, second seat.
Chloe Manning, CLNS Media. Peyton, can you just describe the leaps you've seen Jason make as a passer this year and just what it's like to play with him out there when he's finding everybody like he was tonight?
I mean, he's an unbelievable playmaker. I mean, obviously we know he can score at the highest of levels, but when you can score and pass like he is, I think he ended up with like 13 assists, so it's a game changer. I mean, it makes teams play you completely different, which in the end, you know, if we do our job and hit the shots he's kicking to us, then it's going to open up more for him.
Second row, first seat.
John Corrales, Boston Sports Journal. Peyton, first NBA Finals game, you're out there. Coach lets you roll guarding Steph Curry. What's that like?
It's just, you know, it's an unbelievable feeling. I mean, just to be here and compete at this level, you know, against such a dynamic franchise for the last couple of years. I just think we're all looking forward to the challenge to go through the series and try to get it done.
Fourth row in the middle.
Suichi Terada, Mass Live. Peyton, Ime kind of singled out Marcus in the fourth quarter when he wasn't playing. He was obviously cheering for you guys, and he checks in and finishes the game. But I guess what does that do for you guys when the defensive player of the year is you know, that hyped up for you guys?
You know, basketball is a team sport, so you know we all pick up slack sometimes, and when he's out, we all got to pick up the defense intensity because you know he leads us on that end. So when he's out, we have to just pick it up.
Fourth row on the right, Tim Bontemps.
Tim Bontemps from ESPN. Peyton, what was it like to go through that second half where you guys obviously come out and struggle in the third, fall behind, and then obviously you're out there for the fourth quarter when you guys go on that huge run and hit all those threes? Kind of what was that swing like to live through it?
Well, I think we want to try to take care of the third quarter better. Obviously, through those playoffs, we've been struggling a little bit, but you know, being resilient has been the word for this year, and I think it showed tonight.
Fourth row, Gary Washburn.
Gary Washburn, Boston Globe. Peyton, what was being said on the bench during the game? Was it like was it different since it was game one of the finals? Were everybody trying to calm each other down? Was Ime coaching any different than he did a normal game?
No, I think we coached the same. I think we went out there and did the same. I mean, we've been in big time series against, you know, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and the Heat, and now the Golden State. So we're not changing anything up, but you know, just to keep on going, make a run. They're gonna make their runs and just control it.
On the left here.
Hey, Peyton, Cameron Buford here, Voice of the Fans. Going into the fourth quarter, what was the conversation amongst the teammates, not from the coach, but just the players going into the fourth quarter? Now, I talked to you yesterday. You were pretty confident about what this team could do in this series. Now, going into that fourth quarter, what was the mindset? And talk about what the conversation was.
Just we're gonna make our run. Obviously, they made their run in the third, and we were just confident that we were gonna make our run, get stops defensively, and then, you know, start hitting shots. And I think we held them to 15 points or something like that in the fourth quarter. So obviously, it started with the defense.
We'll take two more questions. Fourth row on the right.
Abby Chin, NBC Sports Boston. You mentioned the nerves. Were there some, and when did you feel yourself start calming down?
Yeah, definitely. I think everybody had nerves today from our side. Like I said, it's our first time being here, but it's more being excited and ready for the moment. You know, just getting up and down, I think it went away quick, but it's definitely exciting.
Final question on the left.
Hi, Peyton. Ryan Leong, NBC News Radio. Certainly this looks like it'll be a long series, but how big is it, though, to take the first game, and especially on the road? Well, I think it's important to win any game you can, and especially to come here and win one on their home court is huge. But, you know, we're looking forward to game two now and putting this one past us and trying to get that one, too.
Thank you, Peyton.
A lot of people assume NBA players can reach anything. Just like they assume they can't afford great insurance.
Here you go.
He's your master.
For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, call or click to get a quote today.
First row, third seat here.
By Manning, CLNS Media. Jason, when you look back at Ime first becoming head coach, it felt like one of the first things he prioritized was helping you become a better playmaker. Just what were some of those early conversations like with him, and just how much did you believe in yourself as a playmaker before he arrived and thought that could be something you did?
Yeah, I think that was kind of his message from day one, just to challenge me to be, the best player that I can be, and improve, other areas of my game. And we watched a lot of film throughout the course of the season of games, of just areas, things I could improve on. And obviously playmaking was one, drawing a lot of attention. Just to help the team out as much as possible. He's done a great job of challenging myself and, just the group in that aspect.
Fourth row on the left, Gary Washburn.
Gary Washburn, Boston Globe. Jason, when you don't score in the fourth quarter, but the team scores 40, you have assists, you play make, but offensively you're off. How do you walk away from a game like that when you're not good offensively, but the team is good otherwise?
Ecstatic, right? 40 points in the fourth quarter. JB played big. Al, Peyton, D. White, those guys made big shots, timely shots as well. And we won, right? I had a bad shooting night. I just tried to impact the game in other ways. We're in the championship. We're in the finals. All I was worried about was trying to get a win, and we did. And that's all that matters at this point. So, I don't expect to shoot that bad again, but if it means we keep winning, I'll take it.
Fourth row on the right, Tim Bontemps.
Hey, Jason, two things quick. First of all, you guys have had a pretty crazy season, lots of ups and downs. Seemed like that second half kind of encapsulated that. What allowed you guys to kind of keep your heads after another rough third quarter and then respond the way you did in the fourth?
The message in the start of the fourth was just, we've been here before. We know what it takes to overcome a deficit like that. Obviously, that's a great team. It's not going to be easy, but just knowing that we've been in that situation before, and we've gotten ourselves out of it, and we had a lot of time left, right? So, it wasn't time to hang your head or be down. It's time to figure it out.
Third row.
And when you're playmaking specifically, I think you had 7 assists in the first quarter, early in the first half, and it seemed like you were able to kind of get going that way early. Was there anything they were doing specifically that opened that up for you, or was that just a matter of, seeing open shooters and hitting guys?
And just reading the play. They do a great job of helping and things like that. So, obviously it's just as simple as, if you draw two, find somebody that's open. That's what I was just trying to do.
Third row in the middle.
Matt Votor, Mass Live. Jason, after a couple of your bigger wins against Miami, you talked about how it was human nature to kind of feel confident and let up a little bit. Did you feel like you guys took some lessons from that are really important to apply now going into game two?
Yeah, I think so. And just knowing that, right, our last two series, we lost game one. This time of the season is so, you feel great after you win, and you feel terrible after you lose. You got to just be able to stay, mellow, stay balanced, especially this early. It's far from over, right? It's just one game. And we got to be ready for them to respond as if, we would if we lost the first game. They're going to come out, they're going to make adjustments and things like that. So we have to be prepared, and just approach it one game at a time.
Last question to Steve Ashburn.
Steve Ashburner, NBA.com. You and Jalen and Marcus and some others have had this building for several seasons. and you had it rolling after the first of the year, and all of a sudden, Derek White gets dropped in as a new guy. What was your reaction to his arrival, and how did you guys make him fit in a way that was good for your team and good for him?
I had played with Derek White with the USA Basketball in 2019, so I was familiar with him. Smart and JB did as well, and Coach, Will Hardy and Udoka was on the staff, so we were familiar with him, and he knew a lot of the guys. And Derek is just such a smart basketball player. He could fit in anywhere. I'm glad we got him. But he just knows how to play the right way on both ends of the floor. So, we just kept it going, as soon as we got him.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Jalen's going to be coming up right away. Third row on the right.
Jalen, Rowan, Nocturne Sports Illustrated, over here on your right. The Warriors play a lot of different looks. They have, they play 3 guard lineups. In the fourth, they had Looney and Draymond out there together. I was wondering if you could describe a little bit how different it is defensively when they play 2 bigs versus when they go smaller and more shooting on the floor.
At the end of the day, it's basketball. Got to make adjustments, read the game. They play 2 bigs. Looney and Draymond, that's been effective for them most of the playoffs. Looney dominated the offensive glass tonight. So you understand why he's in that game, and Draymond is Draymond. So we just got to do a good job of running our offense, making our reads, and then let the game decide for itself.
First row on the left, Kevin.
Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer. Jalen, every single year of your career, you've made progress as a ball handler, and of course, in this postseason, there's been some ups and downs, but your efficiency still as a shot creator in isolations has continued to trend up. What's your assessment of how you've developed at creating out of isolations when it comes to really feeling out scoring and facilitating?
Just being a basketball player, just coming out being aggressive, using what I can do best, my skill set, to get to my spots, and just overall being aggressive. Every year, you could say I got better, or every year you could say I got more opportunity. You could look at it both ways. So for me, I just come out and just play my role and do what I need to do to help my team win.
Second row on the left.
Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. When Ime was asked about tonight's win, he brought up the word resiliency, and he said, that's been the theme for you guys all season long. What makes you guys so resilient?
Just the guys in that locker room. We battle tested. We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of experience, a lot of losses. So we know what it takes to win. So I give credit to every guy in that locker room from top to bottom. We got a great, resilient group, and the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So everybody comes to work every single day, not just players, but coaching staff, medical staff, weight training, everybody. So it's an all-around collective effort every single night, and everybody did their job.
Sixth row on the right.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. When you got that steal early in the fourth quarter and you kicked ahead to Peyton, did you see Peyton through there? Were you trying to pass it to him?
Yeah, we got the steal. Peyton was open, made the play for the layup.
On the left.
Hey, Jalen. Cameron Buford, Voice of the Fans. Congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask you, if you think back to Team USA, when you teamed up with Derek White, what was your impression of Derek White at that time? And then how has he changed your impression of him since he's been here on your team?
Derek White is a baller. He has been for a while. San Antonio, he's had great series and playoff runs and things. He's definitely a player that can elevate his level at any time. And I've known that before I played with him at USA, but even learned more from him at USA. He's just a baller. Just certain people get up for moments and have the ability to just outplay the scouting report and just can flat out hoop. So credit to D. White, man. He can ball.
Back row on the far right.
Hey, Jalen, back here. Joe Varden from The Athletic. We understand that Derek is quiet, but whether it was when everybody was in China or training camp in Vegas that year or when he got traded, to you in Boston. Do you have a favorite off the floor story about Derek and meeting him and things like that?
Yeah, we got some stories, but overall, Derek is just a great guy. He's quiet, but you know, like if you get close enough to him, he'll warm up to you. He'll say some jokes, some dad jokes and stuff like that. So Derek is a great guy, and he fit right in as soon as he got to Boston, and it was just like automatic. So we're lucky to have him.
2 more questions on the left here with Robert.
Bobby Manning, CLNS Media. Jalen, do you remember the first conversation you had with Ime about becoming a lead ball handler on this team? I felt like that was like his biggest emphasis, becoming head coach on this team, was you and Jason kind of taking over the playmaking duties. Was it as far back as maybe the World Cup run that you had with him?
Maybe not as far back as that, but definitely since Ime has been here, he's wanted to put the ball in my hands more so than any other point in my career, and I've made leaps just by getting that experience and things like that. And sometimes I make the wrong read. I'm human. I make mistakes, but I feel like if you put the ball in my hands more often than not, I'm gonna put ourselves in a good position to win. And tonight I got going in the fourth quarter, and I made some really great reads, and we was able to go on a run and helped us come back to win the game.
Last question, 4th row on the right, Tim Bontemps.
Tim Bontemps from ESPN. Two things quick, Jalen. First, you guys have talked a lot all year about being resilient. You said after Game 6 in Boston, you were going to go to Miami and win in Game 7. What was kind of the feeling of you guys after that third quarter when you struggled again in terms of turning that around in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at halftime. We knew they were going to come out in the third quarter, and they did. They came out great. But in those moments, you know, once you realize that you allowed somebody to do something that you didn't want them to. Once you realize that, either you can go 2 ways. You can let it snowball, or you can, you know, play to the next play and figure things out. And we just kept playing. We just kept figuring it out. We kept playing basketball, and we found a way to win.
And you said after Game 7, when you were sitting up there with Al in Miami, that everybody was thrilled for Al to get a chance to have this opportunity to be here in the finals. What was it like for you guys to see him really take over down the stretch there and kind of flip this game around for you guys?
Phenomenal. That's what we need. That's what we want. We want that veteran leadership to carry us over. Al had a bunch of great looks. We encouraged him to keep taking them. And he came out his first finals game, and he played amazing. So he carried us and led us to a victory. So we got to get ready for next game. We win as a team. I know the media likes to push the narrative between certain players, but it's a team game. You know, the best team is going to win, not the best individual player. So we just got to keep playing as a team, and then we'll be all right.
Thanks a lot, Jalen.
Thank you.
A lot of people assume NBA players can reach anything.
Just like they assume they can't afford great insurance.
Here you go.
He's your master.
For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, call or click to get a quote today.
Questions for Kavan? Anthony, we'll start with you.
What do you think you guys can do better against Horford, particularly?
No, he made a lot of threes today. I think we let him get comfortable early in the game. Kind of made it easy for him as the game went on. No, he's a good shooter and a good playmaker. You got to kind of pick your poison with him. He's a good right-hand driver, but no, just mixing it up, just make him uncomfortable early. I think he got settled in and made shots early and kind of had a rhythm the whole game.
Tim up front.
You guys haven't trailed in a series so far this postseason. What's the confidence level? Like, what do you guys? What's that locker room like right now?
No, everybody's upset that we lost, but I think the confidence is still there. You know, I feel like we played a good game for about 43 minutes, 42 minutes, and down the stretch, you know, they hit a lot of shots. We start turning the ball over a little bit, start fouling a little bit more than we did early in the game. So we kind of know what we need to do to win, and just got to go out there and execute better.
Any other questions for Kavan?
Kavan, did you see a difference in the rhythm they were able to get into offensively when they were playing bigger versus smaller in this game?
Nah, when they both, it was kind of consistent the whole game. You know, they just made shots I mean, they pretty much made shots the whole game. They shot 50% from three. Whatever lineup they had in there, the guys were making shots. Credit to them. Derek White hit a lot of shots. Marcus Smart hit some big ones. Horford hit some big ones. And they kept fighting. They kept it close. And down the stretch, they made more shots than us. So it didn't really matter what they kind of played two bigs the whole game. And I think we did a good job with our rotations. And we wanted the guys who we wanted to shoot, but they just made shots today.
Question on the right.
With the fourth quarter, or on the side, with the fourth quarter specifically, obviously they were making shots. You guys weren't. I think you guys had like a 5-minute scoring drought in there. During that time, did you ever feel like there was like maybe a loss of focus, or maybe like you guys might have gotten to your heads a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say it was a loss of focus. I think they just had us on our heels. They kind of, their defense kind of had us stagnant. They was able to push it in transition. They was able to get to the paint and kick it out. And I think for the most of the game, we was the aggressors. We was able to play with force. And I think in the fourth quarter, had us on his heels, had us backpedaling, and had us scrambling in our rotations. And they're a really good team. They made shots, and just a battle of will. And I think they won it in the fourth quarter.
Come on, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. And usually in first quarters in these playoffs, if Steph goes off, you guys can pretty much cruise to a win. Were you at all surprised by Boston's resilience? Because they were in it after the first quarter. You guys ran away from them in the third quarter, and they came back in the fourth.
No, I wouldn't say I was surprised. We've been watching the playoffs all year. You kind of know that's kind of their team. They get punched them out, but they always stay around. They always make runs, and they might even lose a game, and you might think the series might have changed. They come back and kind of win. So they don't really They don't get down on themselves. They always keep fighting and keep playing their style of basketball. And so we weren't surprised. It's the finals. It's going to be hard. None of these games are going to be easy. It's going to be a hard fight to the battle each game. So we weren't surprised. It was good to see Steph get off to a good start. He kind of set the tone for the series and set the tone for our offense for the whole game. And I think we did a good job on the offensive end for the most part. We just got to finish better.
Mark?
Hey, Kevon, markmedianba.com. When you guys have lost playoff games this year and during the title runs, what's the process of what you guys do in between games to course correct, and how can that apply for this upcoming game?
Just watching a lot of film and kind of see where we went wrong at, seeing how we can make some adjustments, how to keep them guys, off the three-point line. How to keep guys going middle and getting to the paint, different things that we kind of talked about before the series started. But now that we got a good feeling, our first time playing against them, so we got a good feel for what they do, the force that they're going to play with. We just go out there and make some adjustments.
Any final questions? Thanks, Kevon. Questions for Andrew? Go to CJ on the left.
Andrew, what kind of changed with the way Jaylen Brown was attacking you guys late in the game? It seems like he started to get going a little bit as the game matured.
He got going. He kind of fueled that late run they had.
Anything else? Anthony?
They hit 21 threes. I mean, how much of that? I know game plan wise, you were willing to give up threes at times, but how much of that did you feel like was defensive errors?
Some of it was, but they hit some tough shots too. Some tough shots when it mattered. It's hard to be a team when they hit 21 threes.
Question in the back here.
Andrew, Steph got going, and then they adjusted their defense. How do you think the other guys handled, the attack and going at the Boston defense, like yourself and Jordan Poole, et cetera?
Just looking for your right spots, staying aggressive. But they're a good defensive team, but we're a good offensive team too. We have a lot of weapons. We just got to utilize them. We'll be good.
Anything else for Andrew? Thank you.